Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is our fourth session of High Intermediate 2. Today, we'll be covering page 8, the listening on page 9, and the one page of magazine, page 46. May I ask you to turn to page 8, food idioms. By the way, what is an idiom? Everyone, idiom is a group of words that has a special meaning, and this meaning is different from the ordinary meaning of each separate word. So, a group of words with different meaning from the ordinary meaning of each separate word. Well, here on page 8, we've got some food idioms, idioms related to food. So there's some idiomatic expressions. Let's see. First of all, let's check out the idioms, their meanings, then we'll come up with some sample sentences. Well, the first one is not be one's cup of tea. So, everyone, when someone or something is not your cup of tea, it means something or someone is not what or who one enjoys or does well. So it's not, he is not, she is not, they are not my cup of tea, your cup of tea, for example. The second one, to walk on eggshells or to walk on eggs. So, to walk on eggshells or to walk on eggs. The meaning, to try hard not to upset someone or something, not to bother them, not to hurt someone's feelings, let's say. Next one, bother someone up or flatter someone, suck up to someone. The meaning, to say nice things to someone so that they will help you or give you something. So, bother someone up. Next one, the apple of someone's eye. The apple of someone's eye. It means someone or something, of course, someone or something that one likes a lot. Next one, smell fishy or be fishy. The meaning, something is suspicious. You smell a rat. You think something is fishy, something smells fishy. And the last one, take something with a pinch or grain of salt. The meaning, not consider something 100% accurate, exact, and be doubtful. You are uncertain. You feel dubious. You feel unsure about something. All right, now some sample examples. Not be one's cup of tea. For example, thanks for inviting me, but jazz isn't really my cup of tea. When you say jazz, the music, jazz isn't really my cup of tea, you mean you really don't like it, you don't enjoy it. So it's not your cup of tea. To walk on eggs or to walk on eggshells. For example, when my mother-in-law is staying at our house, I feel like I'm walking on eggs, or I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Bother someone up, suck up to someone, or flatter someone. Uh, for example, you'll have to bother them up a bit before they'll agree. So in order to make them agree, you need to bother them up. You need to be nice to them. Okay? Of course, it's not good to bother people up. I'm afraid many people do. The apple of someone's eye. For example, his youngest daughter was the apple of his eye. His youngest daughter. Smell fishy or be fishy. His excuses smell fishy to me. I don't believe them. So his excuses smell fishy. And the last one, take something with a pinch or with a grain of salt. You have to take everything she says with a pinch of salt, with a grain of salt, because she tends to exaggerate. She has a tendency to exaggerate. So watch out. It is hard to believe her. All right. Well, exercise 1B, everyone. 1B. Use the expressions above, use the food idioms to complete the sentences. Number 1, he said he didn't want the job anyway, but that's just walking on eggs or walking on eggshells. Maybe he didn't want to hurt your feelings. He didn't want to upset you, to bother you. Number 2, he's nice enough, but not really my cup of tea. He's a nice guy, but not my cup of tea. I don't enjoy his company. I don't like him. Number 3, she's the apple of her father's eye. She's the apple of her father's eye. So her father loves her a lot. Number 4, if I were you, I would take everything he says with a pinch of salt or with a grain of salt. If I were you, everyone, means if I were in your shoes, if I were in your position, if I were in your situation. Number 5, there is something fishy going on here. Something fishy. Going on, as you know, happening. So there's something doubtful, dubious going on here. Number 6, he's always trying to bother up the boss. To be nice to the boss in order to get some advantages. Not a nice thing to do. Listening and speaking. 2A. Match the words on the left with their meanings on the right. Then complete the sentences with the correct forms. All right, first of all, let's check out the correct pronunciation. Let's learn how to pronounce the words and phrases correctly. Then we'll do the matching, we'll have some sample sentences, and finally we'll complete some sentences using the words we've just learned. Now, everyone, look at the words and take a listen. All right, listen carefully, please. Sift through, sift through. Number 2, trigger, trigger. Number 3, sniffle, sniffle. Number 4, alter, alter. Number 5, perception, perception. Number 6, inhibit, inhibit. Number 7, vibrant, vibrant. So, number 1, sift through, or we can say just sift, everyone, means see. Examine information, or as you remember, investigate, we can say. So, sift through or sift, to examine or to investigate something. Number 2, trigger, trigger means F, cause, cause something, especially something bad to start, trigger, or set off or trigger, make something to happen, to start. 3, sniffle or the sniffles means E, a slight cold. Slight means not serious, a slight cold. Number 4, alter means A, change, modify. So alter, change, modify. Number 5, perception, perception. Perception, everyone, means B, idea, belief, image, perception. Number 6, inhibit, inhibit. Inhibit means G, prevent, prevent, stop, thwart, if you remember, thwart. Number 7, vibrant, vibrant. It means D, lively, exciting, full of activities, full of life and energy, vibrant. So one more time, sift through, trigger, sniffle, alter, perception, inhibit, and vibrant. All right, now some example sentences, everyone. All right, sift or sift through. After his father's death, he had to sift through all his papers. Sift through, search, investigate. Trigger. Some people find that certain foods trigger their headaches. Trigger, make something happen. Or the racial killings on the weekend have triggered off a wave of protests. Sniffle or the sniffles. I had a cold a couple of weeks ago and it left me with a bit of a sniffle, a slight cold. Alter. We've had to alter some of our plans. Or although the cost of making phone calls is going up, the charge for connecting to the internet will not alter, will not change. Perception. These photographs will affect people's perceptions of war, their ideas, beliefs, images of war. Inhibit. The drug, or this drug, this medicine, inhibits the growth of tumors. Inhibit, prevent. Vibrant. We say a vibrant young performer, or the hope is that this area will develop into a vibrant commercial center. Well, everyone, the noun form of vibrant is vibrancy, and the adverb is vibrantly. All right. Now, let's complete the sentences. Okay? Number 1. Certain forms of mental illness can be triggered by food allergies. Mental, as you know, is related to mind. We have mental and physical. Can be triggered. By the way, we need to use the past participle form because this is a passive sentence. Can be triggered by food allergies. You know, allergy. Some people are allergic to things. It means they have an allergy to something. For example, I have an allergy to onions. I sneeze and cough when I have them. So I'm allergic to onions. Number 2, her face hadn't altered much over the years. Altered. Had plus PP. Past perfect. Hadn't changed. Hadn't altered. Number 3, police are sifting through the evidence. Are sifting through. Present continuous. They are investigating the evidence, the proof. By the way, everyone, police in English is plural. We say police are, police help people. Number 4, some workers were inhibited, were stopped from speaking by the presence of their managers. Presence is a noun form of present. So they were inhibited. Past, simple, passive, were inhibited. They didn't speak, they didn't utter a word because their managers were present. Number 5, the streets of the capital are vibrant with colors. The streets of the capital city are vibrant, are full of excitement, life, energy with colors. They're colorful. Number 6, if you have a sniffle, you keep sniffing, especially because you have a cold. So if you have a sniffle, or if you have the sniffles, you keep sniffing. You know, everyone, when you sniff, you breathe air into your nose noisily, like this, because you have a cold or maybe you've been crying. So you keep sniffing or you keep sniffling, especially because you have a cold. Number 7, we need to, we must change the public's perception that money is being wasted. Public's perception means public's image, people's ideas, people's beliefs that money is being wasted. And to waste something means not to use it in a good way. All right. Well, before we do the listening task, let's check out these pictures. Here you can see a picture of a tongue, and on the tongue you can see just very small, tiny parts called taste buds. Taste buds. Well, everyone, they're responsible to help us distinguish different tastes. And here you can see some tastes. We have sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. So, sweet, for example, like sugar, like honey, sweet. Salty, full of salt, like pickles. Sour, like lemon. Lemons are sour. Bitter, coffee without milk. And umami, everyone. Umami means having a strong, pleasant taste that is not sweet, not sour, not salty, or bitter. For example, we can say meat tastes umami, or some types of cheeses or tomatoes. Sometimes, I don't know, fish. Yeah, fish can taste umami too. So, sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Okay, page 9, everyone. Page 9. 2b. With a partner, discuss the following questions. Number 1. Why does food taste different when you are sick? Number 2. Why do fancy restaurants play fancy background music? Fancy restaurants means expensive and fashionable restaurants, and fancy music is kind of luxurious. And what affects the taste of food? What influences? What impacts the taste of food? So, why does food taste different? A lot of the flavor of food comes in through the nose. When we chew, there are some chemicals which are released into our mouths, and some of these chemicals go up the back of our throat into our nose. And our nose, as you know, is an important part of tasting. So when you have a cold, your nose gets blocked up, and the chemicals from the food can't just get through. This is why food can taste bland or different, because we have a cold and our nose is just blocked up. Well, in answer to question number 2, the reasons why fancy restaurants play some kind of music, there are different reasons. For example, music creates a relaxing and fun atmosphere. Music is a key element when it comes to setting the mood. It can make your dishes taste more delicious. It can make waiting more pleasant. Sometimes we need to wait, and listening to music can just make it more pleasant. As far as I know, it can even affect the taste of food. Okay, and what affects the taste of food? There are different reasons. The ingredients and how fresh they are, spices, I don't know, the way we prepare food, our moods, even our moods, whether you're feeling down or you're just feeling elated, you're down in the dumps, you're depressed. Uh, they all affect the taste of music. All right, 2.c. Listen to a recording about changes in our taste and choose the correct answer. Well, everyone, before we take a listen, I'd like you to check out the questions here. There are 5 questions. Okay, so while I'm looking for the audio, so make sure to take a look at the listening questions. Well, if you're ready, let's take a listen. Well, listen and take notes.
Taste different.
Okay,
Taste
here we go.
Have you ever wondered why food tastes different when you're sick? Or why fancy restaurants play relaxing background music? The answer to both these questions comes down to taste. Taste is a very interesting and complicated sense. While researchers are still trying to fully understand how this sense operates, we do know a decent amount about the sense. The average person has about 10,000 taste buds on the tongue. Taste buds are sensory organs with very sensitive microscopic hairs called microvilli. These microvilli send information to the brain about how something tastes. It is important to note that your sense of taste does not act alone. In fact, taste as a sense is made up of sight, smell, and touch, all of which can impact how we perceive the taste of food. With so many factors involved, it is clear to see how our perception of taste can be easily affected. Listed below are 5 surprising things that can affect taste.
Color.
Many people associate color with taste. For example, when shopping for apples in a grocery store, people tend to sift through the bunch, choosing the brightest, reddest apples. Since these apples are the most visually appealing, they generally and unconsciously are considered to be of better quality. Studies have shown that brighter, more intensely colored foods seem to taste better to study participants than less vibrant, duller colored foods, even when the flavor compounds were exactly the same.
The common cold.
When you're stuffed up, food just doesn't seem to taste the same, and sometimes it doesn't have any taste at all. This is because when you eat, chemicals from the food are released and travel up into your nose. These chemicals trigger receptors inside the nose, allowing you to taste different flavors. But when you have the sniffles, that pathway is blocked, altering the way you taste foods.
Temperature.
The temperature at which we eat food can greatly affect taste. Studies have shown the perception of taste decreases when the temperature rises above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The hotter the temperature of the food, the more likely taste buds are impaired from the heat.
Stress.
Stress affects the entire body, taste being no exception. Anxiety can trigger acid reflux symptoms, pushing stomach acids up into the throat. These acids can mix with foods, affecting taste. Additionally, stress-activated hormones called glucocorticoids have been connected to our taste buds' reaction to sugar. This might be one reason we love those sweet treats during exam time.
Background noise.
Researchers believe a high level of noise in restaurants inhibits the ability to recognize how sweet or salty food is. Furthermore, studies have shown when background music is set at a volume comparable to normal human conversation, people claim their food tasted better when compared to the same exact food served to louder background.
Okay, so, well, if you think you need to listen again, everyone, make sure to replay the audio and listen one more time. And of course, remember to take notes. So, listen to a recording about changes in our taste and choose the correct answer. Number 1, according to the audio, we know C. Enough about taste buds. Yeah, decent. We have, let's say, she said, we do know a decent amount about the sense. So we do know a decent amount. We know enough. Number 2, how many taste buds does an average person have? Well, according to the audio, it was 10,000. 10,000. Number 3, the example of shopping for apples is given to, it was C. Show how color and taste are connected in people's eyes, in people's opinions. By the way, everyone, in A, we have emphasize. Emphasize means to stress as a verb, to show the importance of something. As you know, the noun form is emphasis. In B, we have demonstrate. Demonstrate means to show, to describe. Tendency here means desire, people's tendency, people's desire, and to indicate, again, to show something. Number 4, according to the audio, which is true about temperature? The answer is A. The temperature at which we eat food can affect the taste a lot. And number 5, according to researchers, a high level of noise in restaurants, it is A, affects the ability to recognize sweet and salty tastes. Well, 2D, listen to the recording again, take notes, and be ready to provide a summary. Well, I'd love you to replay it, make sure to take notes, and provide a summary. So remember, according to the lecturer, there are some small parts on our tongue. The average person has about 10,000 taste buds. These are some organs which are very sensitive, and they send information to our brain, and they help us to distinguish how something tastes. Then there are 5 surprising facts that affect the taste. One was the color. Remember, when we go shopping, we prefer to buy apples that are brighter. Then we had the common cold. When you have a cold, because your nose is blocked up, you have difficulties tasting different foods. The temperature was another factor. The temperature at which we have food can greatly affect the taste. Then we had stress. It triggers some acid reflux symptoms. And finally, we had background noise. That is why some restaurants play fancy music, some fancy background music. Okay, now everyone, please go to page 46. Page 46. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Did you know? Just a minute. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Did you know? Well, you burn more calories eating celery than it contains. The more you eat, the thinner you become. Well, here in the picture, everyone, you can see some celery, or let's say 2 stalks of celery. So, according to the text, you burn more calories eating celery Okay, it means, everyone, celery is not fattening, it is slimming. It helps you lose weight. So, if you think you are overweight and you'd like to drop to lose a few kilos, try having celeries. Well, premonition dreams. Let's see. There are some astounding cases where people actually dreamt about things which happened to them later in the exact same ways they dreamed about. You could say they got a glimpse of the future, or it might have just been coincidence. Yet, it is undoubtedly considered an interesting and bizarre phenomenon. Some of the most famous premonition dreams include Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his assassination. Many of the victims of 9/11 had dreams warning them about the catastrophe. Mark Twain's dream of his brother's demise. And finally, Einstein's theory of relativity. So, there are some astounding cases. Astounding, everyone, means astonishing, surprising. So, there are some surprising cases where people actually dreamt about things which happened to them later. Well, dreamt, guys, is the past form of dream. By the way, dream has two past forms. One is dreamed and the other is dreamt. Okay, so dream, dreamt, and dreamed. So, about things which happened to them later in the exact same ways they dreamed about. So, some people had some astounding, some surprising dreams, and later their dreams just came true. You could say they got a glimpse of the future. You can say they had a, let's say, a quick look of the future. They knew what will happen. They kind of could foretell or predict the future, or it might have just been coincidence. Remember, when something is a coincidence, it happens by chance. So, it might have been just a coincidence. Yet, it is undoubtedly considered an interesting and bizarre phenomenon. Yet, however, premonition dreams, by the way, premonition means a strange feeling that something is going to happen, especially something bad, something wrong. So, yet, it is, however, premonition dreams is undoubtedly, certainly, without a doubt, considered an interesting and bizarre phenomenon. Bizarre, weird, strange, peculiar phenomenon, event, something that exists. Some of the most famous premonition dreams include, so here we've got some examples of premonition dreams. Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his assassination. Well, Abraham Lincoln dreamt, the US president dreamt of his assassination. Remember, assassinate assassination, when we kill an important person. So President Lincoln dreamt of his assassination. Many of the victims of 9/11 had dreams warning them. Well, everyone, victim means someone who has been attacked, robbed, or murdered. So in 9/11, of course, on September 11th, we had the terrorist attack, and the victims, many of the victims had dreams warning them, telling them about the catastrophe, about this disaster, about this terrible event. Mark Twain, the U.S. Writer, he just dreamt of his brother's demise. Demise means death. And Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Mr. Einstein dreamt of his theory of relativity. Okay, just a minute. So, everyone, this is President Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. He was a U.S. politician in the Republican Party, and he became the president of the U.S. from 1861 to 1865. Mr. Lincoln won political support in the northern states because of his speeches against slavery, but I'm afraid this made him unpopular in southern states where slaves did most of the farm work. And the U.S. Civil War started soon after he became president, when the southern states decided to leave the U.S. In 1863, all slaves in America became free people. And a few days after the war ended, everyone, President Lincoln was shot and killed in a theater by an actor called John Booth, I think. And guys, Mr. Lincoln is considered to be one of the most important and popular U.S. presidents. And people sometimes just called him Honest Abe because they just admired his honesty. And nowadays you can see his picture on the US $5 bill and on the 1-cent coin. So one of the greatest US presidents, or let's say the greatest US president, Abraham Lincoln. Well, this is a picture of September 11th, 9/11. Remember, everyone, on September 11th, in 2001, some terrorists used planes to attack New York and Washington. And unfortunately, I think about 3,000 people, 3,000 people just lost their lives because of these terrorist attacks. Then Mark Twain, as you can see in the picture, he was a U.S. author, and he's best known for his novels, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And he's also famous for his descriptions of life on the Mississippi River. And by the way, his real name was not Mark Twain. His real name was Samuel L. Clemens. And Albert Einstein, the great scientist, you can see his photo here. He was a U.S. physicist and mathematician. By the way, he wasn't originally American. He was from Germany. He developed the theory of relativity, and in which he changed the way the scientists just understood space and time. Okay, well, everyone, this is the end of another episode of High 2. Thank you so much. Thanks for accompanying us.